Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Okay, so we're here at Jester King with Averie.
Hello.
Welcome to What's on Tap podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And Matthias is pouring some of his own homebrew, so enjoy. Would you like some as well?
Sure.
All right. And we're here with, I'm sorry?
This smells great.
Oh, thank you. And what's your name?
Averie Swanson.
Averie and?
Kallie.
Kallie. So Averie is from Jester King, and Kallie is from Monkish.
Yes.
And what do you guys do there?
I'm the head brewer there.
Head brewer there? And?
Operations manager.
Operations manager. Well, we are very flattered to have both of you here because there is like a weird dearth of females in brewing. So what the fuck up with that?
It's a good question. I don't think anyone ever tells you when you're a kid growing up that you can go and do man things. So
Man things. Is man things. Brewing?
Apparently.
I mean,
that's what you're insinuating, right?
The thing is, you can be whatever you want. So why did you become a brewer?
So I've got a science background. I have a degree in biology, did some clinical research for a while, was a home brewer on the side, and moved to Austin from Houston about 7 years ago and asked Jester King if they had volunteer opportunities. And they let me volunteer there, and I showed up every day after that, and here I am now, 4.5 years later.
As a head brewer at Jester King. It's amazing because Jester King does incredible stuff.
Thank you.
Like the Spawn series is amazing, actually.
Thanks, man.
I haven't tried it yet, so.
We'll have some pouring next session. It's
next session doesn't do me any good.
No, you're not going to be here next session? No. Okay, well.
But I mean, you brought a lot of kegs over for Fermentor and Healey as well.
Yeah, so there's going to be some stuff kind of floating around Europe here for the next couple of months, and we'll actually be over here for the Arrogant Sour Festival in Italy in a couple weeks, and then also Carnival Britannomyces this summer. So,
all right.
Yeah, there'll be a few opportunities to try this stuff over the next few months.
We definitely have to go to Carnival Britannomyces.
And you should also come to Texas.
Texas is amazing. Actually, I lived in Texas for 11 years.
Really?
So, I lived in Dallas.
Okay. So, that's southern Oklahoma. That's different.
Did
you see the OK there? It's like,
yeah. It's like, oh, down.
Yeah.
So, what got you guys on the Méthode Gouset?
It's a beer that we really enjoy, a style of beer that we really enjoy drinking, and there were a few people that told us that we would be crazy to try to make stuff like that in Texas. So naturally, we had to take on that challenge. But we started that program about 5 years ago. It surprisingly started, the beer tastes okay. It tastes pretty good. So we're pretty proud of that program.
See, I think Texas is perfect for that because it's big, it's open, you got plenty of space. The hill country is amazing. So
I mean, it's very weather-dependent type of brewing, so that is the only issue that we really encounter, is that we don't have very many cold days in the winter where the parameters are where we need them to be to brew this type of beer.
Has that been a real challenge for you, getting the cold days in? Because, quite frankly, Texas winters are about 12 weeks long at best.
If we're lucky. I would say that this last year we definitely ran into an issue towards mid-February where the forecast just did not look like it was going to be in our favor. But the weather's been kind of all over the place this last year, so as a brewer, making beers like this, we have to be pretty on our toes and ready to brew whenever we need to in the winter time.
You're all about you're all about the Gouza.
Oh, I love this. So the thing that kind of interests me a lot is your work with Sean Roy in creating the Méthode Gouze brand. But are you having any problem with that brand right now? Because I know there was.
I mean, I personally don't have a problem with it.
But I know there was some writing about it.
Yeah, so there's been a little bit of debate over it, and obviously, no one likes change. You know what I mean? No one likes. It's a tough thing to talk about because it's a product that we're really proud of, and we feel like we put in the time to make it in the right way. Right? These beers, like I said a second ago, are a huge inspiration of what we do. We love drinking beers like this. We have nothing but absolute respect for that tradition, that product, and the people that are making it, and the generations of people that have been making it before them.
It shows as well with you actually working with the traditional lambic brewers to come up with a name for that kind of beer that would not contend with like the traditional, like calling it lambic or calling it Gueuze.
Yeah.
Like you actually worked with the brewers in Belgium to come up with a new brand name that would actually...
I would say that that's kind of an aggressive way to put it. Okay. We sought out advice from some of the lambic producers in Belgium because of the way that we felt about it and how much respect we wanted to make sure we were paying to that product, or to those beautiful beers.
Yeah.
I hate calling it a product, but it's, so we went over there looking for a blessing. We didn't know what else to call it. We want people to know that this is the style of beer in which we are trying to emulate and trying to honor.
Yeah.
But how do you do that without calling it or
Exactly.
So it was suggested Méthode Gueuze, right? It is beer made in this style, the same way that like Méthode Champenoise is, or Méthode Traditionnelle. But to call it Méthode Traditionnelle doesn't really mean a whole lot. So we wanted something that was a little bit more specific or precise in the nomenclature. So it's been a challenging thing. Not everybody likes it, but
Not everybody likes it.
Not everyone likes the name. Not everyone likes what it is that we're doing. But I think that there's a lot of fear because to say, oh no, you can actually make things like this in other places. I don't think that it should not detract from the products that are made in Brussels or in Belgium. I think that it's an exciting thing and it only lends support to that style of beer, right?
That's a compliment.
Right, it's a compliment. We truly are trying to pay homage to this beer that we love.
Yeah.
So I don't know. For me, I try to be. Try to be a diplomatic person, and so it's very challenging to talk about this with people because I don't want to offend anyone at all. But it is a thing that I'm proud of. Been there.
You should be.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, but sure.
So to say like, well, you're stealing this technique or you're using a technique that is not yours, I think is silly because it's very
not
much
stealing a technique.
I don't think
it's
so.
It's utilizing the same technique as someone else.
I think that art perpetuates art.
Yeah.
So to use what is clearly working very well for someone to say, okay, well, let's try exactly how they figured it out. Why would I spend generations trying to come up with our own approach when that has already happened? So I think taking like that starting point and growing it is what we should do. This is how humanity grows and evolves and changes.
Yeah.
So I think it's an exciting thing for the beer world. I understand that there are reservations and I understand that some people are upset about it, and that was not ever our intention. But at the end of the day, it's just beer. And we and it's beer that we drink so that we can share with one another. Beer is communication. I make beer so that I can share my experiences. I blend beer so that I can, have those shared experiences and that communication with other people. It's a different kind of dialogue.
Jester King is like we've been able to get quite a few beers here in Copenhagen and Scandinavia, but I have a few friends in Dallas that are really pissed because they can't get like the Jester King beers in Dallas.
Well, they can get the beers. We distribute quite a bit actually in Texas. We sell about 70% of total volume on site at the brewery. Austin is in the middle of Texas, so if you're coming from Dallas, it's about 3 hours. If you're coming from Houston, it's about 2 hours.
To be fair, that I-30 stretch there is.
Yeah. Oh, it's terrible. It's the worst. It's the worst drive. Yeah, it's purgatory.
Horrible.
It's terrible. Yeah. I don't go to Dallas if I can avoid it. Actually, I lie. I was there like 2 weeks ago for a brunch, but you can get our beers there. We distribute quite a bit in Texas and then very small amounts to other states when we have events. But I think that, to send like a pallet of beer somewhere where a small portion of it is for a festival or a dinner or whatever, and then the remainder of that pallet is spread around so that people who may have never heard of us, tried it at a festival, are able to go to a store and buy a bottle off the shelf. I think that that's great. But we're making beer that is very reflective of the time and place that we are in Austin, right? So we really want people to come there and create that associative memory so that when you open a bottle of our beer, you're taken back to that picnic table on our patio, and you can smell the ranch, smell the beer. We're trying to create a thing that is reflective of a time and a place. So come to the brewery.
Exactly. So Jester King was one of the first breweries to really speak out against the Wicked Weed purchase. So how do you feel about that?
Well, to be totally honest with you, I've been overseas since the announcement, so I feel a little bit removed from the whole thing. There's been an incredible emotional response from the industry about this entire this event. I think it's a sad thing. I feel like we're mourning the loss of a friend in the industry, and I do feel, I mean, there is a little bit of a betrayal thing there, because to sign with AB, a company that is so intent on stifling this industry and growth, economic growth for all of our companies and for the states that we live in or the countries we live in, I think it's an unfortunate thing. I understand why they're doing this. You know, they are business people, and obviously we're not in this industry to not make money. We're trying to create beautiful things and share these experiences with one another. I think that it's been such a big deal because Wicked Weed was a high-profile craft brewery.
Really a surprise. I think most people were caught off guard by that sale.
Yeah, but if you consider the growth that they have sustained over the last 3 years, the type of growth, the rate of growth, I don't think any of us should be surprised that this is how it happened, right? I mean,
we've been able to readily get their beers in Scandinavia as well.
Yeah.
The recent,
over the last 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
So I think that they make good beer. I know the people that operate the sour side of that facility very, very well. They're some of my closest friends in the industry. Andrew Zinn is the palate that has been growing that brand for the last several years, and I think that he's an incredibly talented individual. And I know that, I mean, everyone is struggling with it, whether you work there or not, right? But the beers are solid. Fortunately, I'm not going to be purchasing those beers, and I think a lot of people won't be. But the thing is, these are still people that wake up every morning and want to go make something good, that feel creatively fulfilled making beer, physically fulfilled making beer. So, I don't know, I think that everyone should remember that these are people and that they shouldn't be, the people specifically should not be harped on for this thing. They had no choice. You know, and no one has left yet because this came as a shock. They didn't tell anybody until maybe 24 or 48 hours before the announcement was made. So how many people are working at an amazing brewery that have a plan B just in case? Probably not very many people. So no one's left yet. I would imagine that some people might. I don't know. I wish everyone there the absolute best. They're good people. But I do think it's kind of a sign of things to come, you know. There are seeds of distrust that have now been kind of sowed in the industry, and it's like no one saw it coming, on the surface. Should we have seen it? Are we all now looking to see who's going to be next, kind of thing?
I really feel like, all right, so Goose Island, Jester King, Breckenridge, who's next? I mean, it feels like it's only a matter of time before you see another big...
Yeah, you said Jester King, but Jester King has not sold out. But I know you meant Wicked Weed.
I mean, Wicked Weed, yeah, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
I know you guys weren't part of that. But I mean, there was a brewery in Houston also that just recently sold out.
And Revolver in Texas as well, which none of us saw coming.
Revolver, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they sold out to Miller Coors about a year ago.
Wow, okay.
Ballast Point sold to Constellation.
Yeah, Ballast Point.
Years ago.
And then we saw Lagunitas just recently gave up all of their rights as well.
Shares,
Lagunitas just sold out all of their brewing. Okay. Well, I mean, you weren't on point before, so.
It's not called for. I probably off point many times.
It's okay, I'll slap you after.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
I don't know, we both work at breweries that are small, that love what we do. I don't think that there's any intention in either of our breweries for something like this ever. Jeff has been very vocal about it, and I think that that's good. We've been vocal about a lot of things. So I don't see why we wouldn't, I don't blame him for going out and saying these things. I think it's important.
Yeah. Somebody
has to stand up for people like us. I mean, we've been very involved in the legislative movement in Texas, try to get laws changed to encourage growth.
The TABC has been really strict, and I think what you guys are doing and Petacolas and a couple other breweries in Texas have been really moving the barometer forward and really advocating for craft beer. Deep Ellum, I know, has done a lot of stuff as well. So
I appreciate you saying that, and I agree completely. And I think that this is a huge. Look at how many people there are here. A lot of us are brewers, but the majority of the people in this room are not. These are all people that love craft beer, that have a. This is the thing that brings everyone together. How many countries do you think are represented in this building right now? How much potential for social progress is there in this room, represented right now? I think that I think this industry has so much potential for change, social change, political change. It's just a matter of harnessing that and coming together. And I really hope that this whole thing with AB InBev doesn't sow seeds of distrust to a point where we no longer trust each other, because I look at this woman right here, and I know she works her ass off to make beer, to make shit happen.
Like, she has been here. I don't know what we saw you yesterday morning, and you were just kicking ass. And I was like, I got to talk to you at some point.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. And I don't know how you were yesterday afternoon, but I mean, it's intense. I can only assume. And Monkish is doing like the best IPAs in the market right now.
Thank you.
I mean, just like every week, it's just like, God damn, why aren't we living in California? Because we don't see like all of the amazing things that you guys are doing, in the marketplace.
Yeah, well, we don't distribute our beer at all. It's like very few select events. We are lucky enough that we can sell all of our beer straight out of the tasting room through growler fills, can releases, within days, within hours of releasing the beers. So it's we're pushing our capacity. We're expanding a little bit within our small building space, but we're doing awesome things. I believe. I don't actually brew the beer, so I'm more of the back end. I run the can releases and I do customer service.
We see a lot of Monkish beers in Scandinavia. We don't see the IPAs. Recently, yeah.
Yes.
We've seen the Intergalactic and Velour, probably saying that wrong.
Belliker.
Belliker.
Belliker and Intergalactic Hitchhiker.
Amazing.
The Spocket release at Mikkeller Bottle Shop 2 days ago.
Yes. Yeah, I get a lot of emails about our but our mixed fermentation bottles, and it's always surprising to me how far they've come.
Yeah.
And how many
started
people.
out as a mixed fermentation brewery, right?
We actually started out as a Belgian style only brewery 5 years ago. So we always had an interest in barrel fermentation and barrel aging beers. So that's what we thought we would be known for and thought of for, but then inspired by other brewers such as Other Half and Trillium, Treehouse, we just started to do something that people weren't doing on the West Coast and making those New England style IPAs that now we're super well known for, and I can't tell you how many people in a row ask for a double IPA here, but it's awesome. It's great to know that our product and our beer is traveling out this far by trade, by word of mouth, just interest over the world. That's so awesome, and we're so excited that we're really a small brewery in Torrance, California, and we're world renowned, I guess now, world famous for something that's not even native to our area.
Making the beers that you like drinking.
Yeah.
And you make the beers that you enjoy drinking with the people that you enjoy being with.
Right.
So that's, I don't know. I love it.
Well, both of you guys are just doing amazing stuff, and we absolutely love everything that we've tried so far.
Thank you.
And we really look forward to seeing what you guys have coming forward, and hopefully we'll be able to see more of you guys in Scandinavia, because we don't get I feel like sometimes we get the leftovers, but they're still amazing. I mean, oh my God. Everything that you guys are doing, we are really on board for. So thank you so much for being a part of this and part of the Scandinavian beer scene and influencing us, because I feel like the California, the beer scene, and in Texas, and I love Texas, don't get me wrong. I think no. I mean, there's so many great breweries coming out of Texas. I mean, Del Rey and God damn it, I'm totally drawing a blank.
I'm not going to help you out with this.
No. But there's so many great Texas brewers that we've tried, and there's fucking California is just an amazing beer mecca. So we really hope to see more of you guys over here and influencing people and bringing us to another level of beer producing. So
thanks so much for having us here. I'm super grateful that I get to come here and that our beer is received well, and it's inspiring. It keeps us wanting to go back and make beer. So So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. We've taken far more than we probably deserve. But we hope to see you next year and hopefully in the future. Cheers.
Thank you. So we're here at the Wicked Weed booth, and we're talking to
Ross.
So Ross, welcome to the show.
Hey, cheers.
And we're very excited about trying your stuff. Wicked Weed does some really great sours.
Thank you.
How did you guys get into the sour market?
So when we opened initially with Wicked Weed, our full sour beer. So when we opened, we had 2 to 3 brands of sour beer that were already in barrel. We had already gone 10 to 12 months in barrel when we opened. So we opened with Black Angel and Genesis. So Black Angel is our Montmorency cherry, done in bourbon barrels, and then our Genesis is tropical fruits. A lot of white wine character too as well. So it's kind of been something that we've developed since the beginning. It wasn't like something that we brought on later or secondary. We've been doing this since the start.
Nice. Cool. We've been able to find a couple of Wicked Weed beers here in Scandinavia before, like the Brettisent's been here.
Yep.
The Fig Sour.
The Monte Fig.
Yep.
The Monte Fig. So last year we were at MBCC, but when we did, we had to come into the market in Denmark, and so we were able to send our beers over in a very limited quantity.
Yeah.
But so there was some representation in the market here for us.
Yeah, because we could find them at Ølbutikken, and Kiosk had a few as well, I think.
And then they pop up from time to time. Yeah. They're not quite as common as we would like them to be, but we find them on the market occasionally.
Yeah.
So this is your first time to Copenhagen?
Yes, first time across seas. I've never
traveled before.
I've never been to Europe. Oh well, we've traveled. We've been to Canada, and throughout Canada we traveled, but
yeah, that's not really traveling.
Exactly. Yeah. It's still continental, right? So this is our first time leaving intercontinental. Yep.
Nice.
Yep, first
Well,
time.
welcome very much.
Hey, appreciate it.
You were actually here on your honeymoon.
So this is day one of our honeymoon. Yep, day
Wow,
one.
that is a real commitment to beer right there. Very impressed. So, you guys, Wicked Weed sold AB InBev, and there was a huge backlash on that. How do you feel about that?
I think I'm going to give the standard answer in all of this. And the standard answer is look, man, these guys have built us up as employees, where we've started from the bottom. Basically, I was cutting tomatoes and making sandwiches for you guys in the kitchen, and they've allowed me, since our knowledge of wild and inoculated beers, allowed us to really become ourselves in the company. So for the respect that they've given me, I continue to give them respect. Those guys were able to make a choice. They made a choice for themselves as far as what made most sense for them, and I'm stoked for them. I'm stoked, and I'm stoked to still be a part of it. Yeah, I mean, fuck, I'm in Copenhagen.
I mean, you get to travel all over the world.
But I understand why it's a question. I understand community. I understand why there's talk throughout the community. But as far as a representative of the brand, we are nothing but stoked for these guys. Nothing but stoked. Like I said, it's our honeymoon. These guys are sending us here. We're stoked.
No, I mean, honestly, for me, I think the backlash is a little overhyped because people are still clamoring for Goose Island stuff.
Yeah. Well, Asheville is also a super hyper-local market, and so I think a lot of our backlash, we have dealt with a bit of backlash, has been through because we are very hyper-local. Will it continue? I don't know. Is it deserved? I don't know. But I think, moving forward, the things that we have set in place are that we want to continue to make sure that we're making the same product at the same high level of expertise throughout. So, we're going to continue that on our end, and we hope that the community responds to not necessarily outlash, but to consistency and quality of beer.
Yeah. And when you look at what AB InBev has done with Goose Island or Breckenridge, I mean, they really perpetuated the brand in a way that's allowed us to.
Sorry, but you have to try that. Spontan 5 times blueberry.
This is the 5 time?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Spontan 5 times blueberry.
Wow. The look on his face says we need to try that beer.
We're very stoked for the brand. The acquisition has allowed us to have a lot more ability to grow. Not that we're stuck in a place where we weren't able to grow, but it gives us a lot more jumping space. And for the brand, I'm very excited. Like I said, I've worked on the sour side for a long time. And you can only grow sour so much, but to watch it grow and to be able to watch the resources pull in is very exciting. Very exciting. excited.
How do you feel about the Funkatorium and the breweries?
So I've bartended at the Funkatorium since day one. My wife helped open the Funkatorium. It's something that we've had much of a vested interest in. I mean, very, very vested interest.
Yeah.
We're stoked. Yeah, we're stoked. I think those guys, as far as AB InBev, know that we are able to put out a good product, and so they want to preserve that. I don't think that they're coming in trying to minimize it at all. I think we're going to continue to see growth and organic growth. I don't think we're going to see artificial growth. So I'm very excited. We'll see. I mean, with the opportunity to have so many resources available at our fingertips, it really can be quite exciting. Quite exciting.
And so what can we expect in September then from Funkatorium?
I don't have any idea what's up. I don't even know what day it is. Yeah. Hopefully me behind the bar serving you beer. Yeah. We, our barrel program hasn't stopped. We haven't seen a delay. There's been no gap. We're continually putting out really high-end beer for a high-end market. Consistency, quality is always of the utmost importance to us. Andrew Zen, he's been there since the beginning. We actually cooked together for a long time, and they brought him in, and through all this progression, the one thing I have to say is Wicked Weed has allowed everyone to grow. Everyone, from bottom to top. They've been only the most supportive company, I've ever worked for. And they're allowing us to really express ourselves, and I don't think that's going to change. So what you should expect from the Funkatorium, continually good beer. I mean, that's what we've always done, and we're going to continue to do it. Always an interest in mixed fermentation, an interest in sour beer, an interest in Brett Saison. But hopefully we have the ability to expand the program so that we can reach more people with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's good to hear that it's just continuing as usual.
Oh, dude, no one's left. When I tell you, no one's left. From bartender to dishwasher to brewer to owner, no one's left. And I think that speaks a lot about what we do.
Yeah.
We're very, very all invested in making sure we preserve what we are. So, yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's
awesome,
good.
Man.
It's good.
I really appreciate taking the time.
Oh, yeah, totally, yeah.
Thank you so much for talking with us.
Hey, it's nice to meet you guys. It's good to
Thank you
hear.
so much.
I appreciate the interview, of course, and I hope I answered any questions. I know it's a little weird, and there are a lot more questions.
It's a sensitive subject,
yeah,
so.
but and I don't want to necessarily give the uniform answer. But what I want to invoke is that these guys are very much a part of me, and I'm very much a part of them, and so I'm stoked to represent those guys. They're awesome. Yeah, they're awesome. We're awesome. We're all awesome. You're awesome. Beer.
Heck yeah.
Cheers, guys. Yeah, of course.
Thanks, man.
Hey, cheers.
So you're here with Chase from American Solera, right next to the Prairie Artisan Ales booth, and welcome to What's on Tap?
Yeah,
in Copenhagen.
Absolutely.
We're very excited to have you here. At least I am, anyway. I've been following you for about a year now, and I keep trying to. You don't know this, but I've been trying to get in contact with you. But you've always been slightly out of grasp. Yeah. So. Welcome.
Thank you.
And it's your first time to Scandinavia, or?
This is my third.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, we've been twice before with Prairie, and so this is the first time for American Solera.
All right, great.
Yeah.
And you guys are doing amazing stuff right now. We're very excited for you. In fact, your tap room in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, it's kind of hard to find.
Yeah, it's a funny little spot on the outskirts of town. We're actually in the middle of renovating a spot in the middle of town. That'll make it a lot easier for people to access our beer and enjoy it. We'll be open every day of the week, and that'll be open at the end of the summer. So we've got our funky little spot where our production facility is on the outside of town, and then in town, 18th in Boston, the entertainment district, will have a pilot facility that's a tap room.
All right. Yeah, I mean, and you guys do really amazing sours. And so what got you into the sour brewing?
I think you just, as a beer geek, you get deeper and deeper into the stuff, and it just becomes the pinnacle of hard to make, challenging to do, and just really rewarding from that standpoint. So that's really been the primary goal with American Solera. It is a Solera-based brewery, done around 18 large oak casks that are just a job in themselves to maintain. So I guess you just, as you change and develop as a brewer, you want to challenge yourself. And to me, it was the ultimate way to stretch my legs and try to really make some special beers.
You have like for a small brewery, you have a pretty big barreling system there. I mean, I think there were at least, I would say 24 barrels maybe, or...
Oh, well, and so in the tasting room, that's a tiny part of it, actually. Yeah. So between, like I said, about 18 large oak casks, around 1,000 gallons each, and then probably a couple of hundred wine barrels and spirit barrels and stuff as well. So any beer we've bottled thus far is oak aged. So we do some other things for draft for the tasting room, but anything we're presenting somewhere kind of outside of our market, you can pretty much guarantee it's been aged in oak for some period of time.
All right. And so I tried the Trippy Citra, and it was one of the few beers I brought back from the U.S. And then we both tried it for our show, and we were absolutely blown away by how amazing it was. It was one of the few beers we went, out of a score of 5, we gave it a 6.
Oh, thank you, thank you. IPAs are a funny thing for us because we don't have a core lineup or anything with our brewery, so it's mostly things we're inspired by or want to drink, and IPAs have really changed. I come from producing like an IPA in our state that's very known and is popular, but I did that 6 years ago, and back then everything was much more West Coast focused, and so that's how I was used to brewing them. But now everything's much softer and juicier, and that's something I had no clue how to do. And so once a month we're brewing a new version of that beer or a variation, and every time we're figuring out how can we make it a little bit better. And it's gone from doing nothing and keeping it kind of old school to switching our yeast strain, to filtering our water, to treating our water, to changing how we hop the beer completely. And each step I feel like they just get a little bit better every time. So it was really good back then, but now I think it's even better. We've since done another batch of it, and we brewed a batch right before we left, so when we get back next week, we can dry hop it and get it on tap as well. So it's been
what
fun.
did it change in that latest batch that made it better?
We've just really backed out the bittering hops. The only place that we add hops in the kettle is when we whirlpool it. We lower the temperature of the beer when we add those hops. And we started adding lactose to all of our IPAs. Since we don't use any specialty malts in them, we find that lactose really adds a soft edge around the beer, so it's not as sharp. And so just all those little things just get it more and more dialed in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm drinking your, I guess the blackberry.
The Bright Black Delight, the blackberry foeder beer.
So good.
That one's fun. It was one of our big foeders, and the idea is that we pull from those to do smaller batches, but sometimes we just love where the beer's at, so we just pop the top open and drop a couple 1,000 pounds of blackberries in, and that one soaked for quite a while. That beer was in the tank for over a year, and it's cool when we can do those batches because we can really reach more people with them. It's a big enough batch to kind of get a little bit outside of our tasting room, or we're able to have it available for a while. So that's kind of as we grow is how we're doing that. Is we're just approaching it with using the full tank instead of pulling from some of them. So most of them are Soleras, and a few of them are specifically for doing entire fruited batches. So we have 4 foeders that are ready right now. Blackberry came out, but we left the berries in it, and it puts saison back on top. So we're doing that as a way to extract this essence and just niceness from the fruit without being a full-on fruit beer. But then we have another round of cerise, which are a cherry beer, and cranberry that when we get back we need to get out of the tanks. And so doing the full tanks is allowing us to reach more people with the beer. But we're still doing smaller specialty ones as well.
Now, we've seen the cerise here, we've seen the Old Deshum, and how are the beers that make it to Scandinavia? Do you pick those, or does?
Yeah, I mean, we just kind of, my friend Jeppe helps bring the beers into all of Europe, and it's just kind of timing with, like, he likes to get a batch maybe every 3 or 4 months, and so it's just kind of what we have at the time. So coming up, you guys are going to see a lot of exciting beer, including the collaboration that we did with him called Farm Truck, which is a blend of spontaneous beer and farmhouse beer. Our blueberry, sour beer, apricot. This blackberry is coming as well. So a couple pallets are just landed, and you'll start seeing that soon. And then in another month, you'll see quite a bit more. I think a mix of about 8 different labels from us. So we got a lot on the way, and I want to keep that going.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are, relatively small in the beer scene, but you've really been able to expand in ways that other breweries haven't been able to.
We've just had really the benefit of having really good friends in the industry, and that's opened a lot of doors and given us a lot of opportunities. So we're really thankful to our friends that have been so generous to help get our beer around. But that's really the goal with the American Solera project, is to be a small brewery with a big impact.
Well, you're doing a great job so far.
Thank you very much.
What can we expect from you in the future?
I'm drinking beer here.
Yeah, of course.
That smells great. More work with our spontaneous beer, and using it as a vehicle for fruit beers and blends. Our first anniversary, which has a likeliness to get here, will be more like a Goose-inspired, 3-year blend. But we'll take that blend to do fruit beers, which will mostly go. We have a private society, and we have a couple of members in Germany, a few in Europe, but those beers will probably mostly go to those kind of smaller releases that the members get. Here in May, we are going to open up and add about 30 more people to it, so people can go on our website to get it, but it'll probably run out in a day.
Yeah, no doubt, probably within an hour.
So really the shift in the kind of more innovative, we're growing in the things that we've done before and building on those, but the new things will come probably through there for this year, and it's kind of like it goes through there and then gets stepped up the next year. So those beers will be around, but pretty hard to get your hands on. But kind of the next year, when we have what we feel like is a lot of success with what we've done, an experiment, then we grow from there with it.
So do you see yourself expanding more into the as the Jester King is, or sorry, I've been drinking a lot today. Jester King has called it the Method Goose process, or?
That'll definitely be a piece of what we do, but given our name with the American Solera, we're really trying to focus on that blending element, with allowing old beer to be constantly kind of refreshing with fresh beer. And so, we're definitely doing that as well. But with a bigger focus on our blending in a single vessel instead of blending from separate things.
A little bit of whiskey barrel aging in there too was a blend of some other
good. All right.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us, and we really love what you do, and look forward to seeing what you have coming out in the future.
Sounds good. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, welcome back to day 2 of MBCC. We're here with Marcus from Brewski.
Hello.
Sullen little voice right there.
There's such a sexy, smoky voice there. I really appreciate it.
All right, Marcus, tell us about what's your thought on MBCC so far? What's your thoughts on MBCC so far?
Yeah, it's a great festival. It's the highlight for us of the year, and we bring the whole family here. Everybody wants to go. We close down the brewery. We spend a couple of days. We have the best times of our lives.
Nice.
So I really appreciate it. It's a dream come true to be a brewer, to be a part of it as a brewer, and so we're delighted about it. So,
You've had a really quick success in Sweden and globally as well.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about why did you want to start a brewery?
Actually, 20 years ago when I went to the US for the first time, US and Canada, I had a brother. He did his PhD in Vancouver, and when I came over, he took me down to a microbrewery. He told me you have to try this. It's microbrewery. They serve fresh beers and they taste strange, but it's quite nice, you know. And we went there. I ordered a beer, and the guy told me it's not a beer, it's a Brewski. And I was like, okay, Brewski. That's a nice word for it.
That sounds very American too.
Yeah. So I had the beer, and I was blown away. I was 90 years old. I didn't even like beers before that, you know, but I was blown away. And then just struck me that why don't we have breweries in Sweden like this, you know? I think I took that thought with me, and also I actually thought, like, if I ever can, I want to build a brewery. It would be nice to have a microbrewery. Like
you want to have your own brewery.
Yeah,
you want to make your own beer.
But then the thoughts, they were just like, I was a kid by that time, but still something grew. And then
the seed was planted.
Yeah. Then when I came home, I tried to find some beers, but it was quite hard by the time, and I started to drink a lot of English ales and stuff. But then it passed, a lot of years passed, and then suddenly my wife started to get into it, or my girlfriend. And so like 6-7 years ago, we started to like drink a lot of microbrewed beers and stuff. We went to some festivals, some beer makers dinners and so on. And actually I went down 2013. I went to Demolen. It was a great festival. I was
the Borifts festival?
Yeah, Borifts. Yeah. And I was a bit like, I thought like the lineup was good, but a thought struck me that I think I can make this better. I think I can make the better beers than some of the breweries at least. So then the week after, I started to look for a brew house.
Nice.
So, and I was interested in beer chemistry and brewing techniques. I read some about it. So
what's your background before you started the brewery? What did you used to do before that?
I was in the food industry for a while, for a couple of years. I was a less successful student at the university. I studied chemistry and biology at the university, but I didn't want to end up in a laboratory, so I actually quit school after a couple of years. And
it's kind of ironic, though. You ended up in brewing, which is kind of a laboratory.
So now you have your own laboratory.
So then I went into the food industry as a controller, and then after that, I really wanted to work with my hands.
Yeah.
So I was bored working in a lab in an office. So I started actually to clean windows. So I started a window cleaning company. So I built one up with my nephew, and we ended up having 50 employees in a quite good company. Wow. And then, so actually it made me. It made it possible for me to actually start a brewery quite quickly. So,
nice.
So I had a good backup.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, you had a good foundation to
start
your next business on.
Yeah.
So and you're well, basically what really put you on the map now with Brewski is the mango fever.
Yeah.
But before that, maybe some people don't know is you had the Twisted Twin as well, because you were contract brewing a little bit for, at Helganes.
I tried to find a site because I didn't know how good I was as a brewer, because I never brewed in my whole life. And I didn't want to become a home brewer. Yep. Because I was like, I went to some sessions and I saw how people were brewing, and I was pretty scared by it. So I actually one friend of mine, he hooked me up with Höganäs brewery in Höganäs, outside Helsingborg, and I asked them hey guys, I can volunteer for you as long as I can brew. If I can take take my small brew house in here and brew some. And they invited me to the brew, and I started to work with them and brewed my own shit.
Yep.
Side by side with their
Yeah, so you're basically the one that created the High Nose Brew brand.
Yeah, not actually. It's High Nose. It's more like an expression for Höganäs.
Exactly. It's like a play on words.
Yeah, everybody calls the city High Nose. So.
Yeah.
And I wanted to start a segment, an own segment, so we could actually separate Höganäs Bryggeri from my brews.
Yeah.
So, and so that's why we say I said, well, why not High Nose brews?
Yeah.
And I brewed a Twisted Twin. I made the small batches, and then they upscaled it for me, and so.
And now, last year, you had the premiere of your own festival in Sweden, the Brewski. Tell us a little bit more about that one. And it's coming back this year as well.
Yeah, it was. I just had an idea one day, like 5 months before the festival, that we have to have a festival. I made a lot of friends worldwide.
Well, you're an easy person to like, so.
I wanted to invite them to celebrate beer, and I thought, like, Sweden, there isn't really any good festivals in Sweden. You have the All In Beer Fest.
Yeah.
But that's in the winter time, and it's inside. I wanted an outdoor festival, and it's. Yeah, so I told my guys, like, let's do a festival. So we did.
I gotta say, the last year's Brew School was one of the most amazing festivals we've ever been to.
Thank you very much.
Well, yeah, you're volunteering this year as well. I'm volunteering again this year.
Yeah.
It was just an amazing festival.
Thank you.
It was perfect. Well, I mean, we had a really good time with the weather as well. But I think just the atmosphere at the festival, and everything was really like homely, and it was just not pretentious at all. It was just a really, really good time.
And we talked to a couple of brewers yesterday that were like, well, we hope we can make Brewski this year. So that's very exciting to hear.
Yeah, that's great.
It's gaining a ton of traction. But I mean, I'm not surprised.
And we're growing as well. We'll be around 70 breweries this year.
So, really impressive.
So it's going to be a larger space this year, or?
Yeah, we will double the
nice.
space. Yeah,
awesome.
So
any peek into who we can expect to see at the festival this year?
Trillium.
Okay.
Cloudwater.
Wow.
Cigar City. Cycle. Yeah, we have some new breweries too. We have Collective Arts from Canada, from Toronto, Ontario. We have Aslin Brewery from Virginia, a great brewery too. So we have some new American breweries coming over.
And it's going off in the end of August, right?
Yeah.
25th to the 27th?
Yeah. So it's a 3-day festival. So we have like 2 days of like festival, and then we have a hangover day where we will serve like 60 beers maybe, and it's more like a gathering for the brewers. And then we said, like, we don't want to isolate it. We want to invite people to come even on the Sunday, so we can have a good time together.
Excellent. Any closing words you want to add?
No,
you're just happy to be here.
It's cheap. The tickets are cheap.
Exactly.
Buy them.
Exactly.
No. We actually pre-sold a lot of tickets. So
you had a massive
sale. We haven't really decided how many tickets we will release, but we need to limit the pre-sales, because I want people to be able to come there spontaneously. So it's
for sure. All right. Thank you very much for your time, Marcus.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so we're here with
Olly from Stockholm Brewing.
Excellent. And Stockholm Brewing's been kind of blowing up recently in the region.
I guess. I mean, we've been going for like 6 or 7 years. We were crap at getting the word out, and we were small. We're still small, but we're doing some nice stuff now. Our regular beers are doing pretty well. We haven't got any beer left, so that's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
Yeah. And we're doing a lot of interesting stuff with wine barrels predominantly, a lot of funky saisons and stuff like that, really.
All right. So Nedward came out.
Nedward,
what was another one at Systembolaget?
Yeah, the Flanders Red with raspberries. So it's a year in champagne barrels and 3 months on raspberries.
Then they know.
We're pretty happy with it. The first time we made that beer, it was called Stupid Sexy Flanders, and we did it for a tap takeover. And then Noagne stole the name, so we had to call it just Nedward.
That's so unfortunate because Stupid Sexy Flanders is the best Simpsons reference ever.
I know, it's fucking awesome. But can I swear? Is it okay?
Yeah, we totally have to do a rating on this. So Matthias says drops the F-bomb every other word. So
fucking awesome. Good.
Yeah.
So that's good. But so I mean, we did that, and we also did the Saison de Brett the Elder, which was we brewed it like 2.5-3 years ago. It was in again white wine barrels for 6 months and a shitload of funk and a load of fresh elder that we picked. So it worked out pretty well.
All right, so you do a lot of local sourcing then?
Yeah, we try to. We work with Rosendal's Trädgård quite a lot. They're a biodynamic nursery in Stockholm on Djurgården. And we get a lot of our fruit, and we've done some stuff with their grapes last year. We're going to do some stuff with their rhubarb, and so we like to work.
Rhubarb, it's exciting, because I think rhubarb is really underrepresented in fruited beers because it's such an amazing flavor.
Absolutely.
And I'm not as you can tell, an implant into the Swedish culture. Rhubarb was not a big fruit outside of the region, but I've come to love it and I really appreciate it. And I hope to see more of it in beers because it's just an amazingly.
It's got some tartness. It's got really nice flavors. We did one last year with Temple, collab again, and actually it turned out super nice. We took it to Boston's CBC and it killed it. I mean, it was the only rhubarb beer there, so people loved it. And this year, actually on Tuesday, we did a collaboration brew with Jester who are my kind of ultimate idols in a way, and that'll be ready in a year. So we're going to let the yeast fight it out. It's like a saison, and we're going to add rhubarb from Rosendal when it's ready.
Okay, that's great. So your philosophy is mostly saisons and sours.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, we're 100% organic. We were the first 100% organic brewery in Sweden, and because we like to do that stuff. So basically, we really appreciate the Belgian styles. So we do IPA, yes we do session IPAs, we do a Weiss beer, but actually saison is where the love is really. We love the Belgian style. We like classic beers. We like low ABV. Generally speaking, everything's between like 3 and 6. I want to drink beer. This lovely beer I'm drinking right now from you is awesome, but it's like 5 times my usual alcohol intake.
There's so many great saisons out there, or session beers, I should say. That it's really great and refreshing to hear that breweries are targeting that low ABV market.
Yeah, man. I want to drink pints. If I drink a pint of this, I'm going to be fucked.
Well, I mean, you are British, so it's kind of like your nature to want to drink like
a lot
pints, 4 or 5 pints or something, and then move on.
4 or 5 pints of this, I'm dying.
Like 4 or 5 pints. I'm getting like 1 pint of this, and you're just like toast.
Absolutely.
You have any questions?
We can do this. What are your plans for this year?
Plans for this year, we need to get bigger. We've got exporting now in Finland, Denmark, Norway. We've got a little bit going on in England, a tiny bit in Spain. I have markets screaming in Berlin and in Holland and in Belgium. So, at the moment I'm turning people away. It's not great.
It's like that's great because people are such in demand. But I mean, at the same time, you can't please everyone. So.
And we've also done a collab with Other Half. Of course, that's raised our profile. We've got some other nice collabs lined up as well. So, that's more of the same really. We're going to try and expand. We might have to move brewery, which is a pain in the butt because our place is really cool, but might have to be. But that's the plans. So lots going on.
So we're going to see more from you in the Swedish market as well?
Hope so, but Systembolaget, they got to get their fingers out, man, and buy a bit more beer. And so the Hallon Sour, which is one of our classic beers, won best beer in Sweden a couple of years ago at the Stockholm Beer and Whiskey Festival, almost by mistake. So Systembolaget were interested. We did 10,000 bottles last year. We'll do 10,000 bottles this year, coming out early July. So
that's one of the interesting things I find about Swedish breweries is you don't see a lot of Swedish beers in Systembolaget. So how do you get more into Systembolaget? Is it like by demand, or
I don't want,
is it?
yeah, it is in a way, but I don't want to be mean to Systembolaget, but it's a little bit retarded. They're like, we can't sell beer in Hornstull. It's on Södermalm. Our fucking brewery's on Södermalm. We're organic. Lilleholmen, where I live across the bridge from Södermalm, they don't sell our beer, and it's like, come on. They say, ask me about Echo, and then you ask them, say, any local organic beer? They go, yeah, we got some Sigtuna lager. Great, but what about the local brewery on Södermalm that's organic? Oh, yeah, shit, I think we heard of you, but it's weird.
Yeah, because it's not just you guys, but it's also like Bryggeriet, Omnipolo, Stibbaget's. I mean, all the Swedish breweries that are making like Dugges, they're making amazing stuff.
Well, Dugges is a lot in Systembolaget.
Yeah, I mean they're the exception to the rule. I don't know who they paid off, but they're everywhere. But yeah, okay, but. They do. I mean, there's a lot of great Swedish breweries that are doing amazing stuff that I can find in bottle shops outside of Sweden much more than I can ever find inside of Sweden.
I mean, Bryggeriet refused to sell to Systembolaget for a couple of years because they said we can sell our beer easier in Spain than we can in Sweden. It's it's a joke. Obviously, now they've got a bit more beer. They can now sell in Sweden again, which is great because for me, they're probably the best brewery in Sweden, I would say, along with maybe Bibliotech. Adam's a wanker, though, by the way.
Well, he's not here today.
Yeah, he is here. Oh, is he? The twat. He keeps on touching my arse.
He
loves that shit.
I know. He does.
Can't get enough of it. But yeah.
Well, you have a nice ass, so I mean, it's only fair.
True, yeah.
It's only fair.
That's how I got my Swedish wife.
Yeah.
They love ass. Those Swedish girls.
They do.
Yeah. All right. So let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and get pissed.
All right, let's get pissed.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Cheers.
Appreciate it. Cheers. Skål.
Cheers.
Good to see you, man.
Nice.
We're here with Tom at Voodoo, and he is pouring up some
Buffalo Trace Black Magic Stout.
Awesome. And welcome to Copenhagen.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
And where are you from?
I'm from Meadville, Pennsylvania.
Okay, I want to try it. Don't be greedy.
I haven't tried it yet, so.
Oh my God, that is so good.
Thank you very much.
It is thick and rich.
Yeah.
I mean, just looking at the line that's forming and everyone wanting the Black Magic Voodoo, then yes, it would be a good call.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so what is Voodoo known for?
We are probably more prominently known for our barrel age program. We tend to age barrels, beer barrels, a lot longer than most people, usually 16 to 18 months. That one actually sat for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're just seeing, we did one before it that sat for about 16, so we're like, see what character you can get from a little bit more. You get less of, I guess, the bitterness of the alcohol, more of the barrel.
All right. No, it is really incredibly smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get the booziness at all from it. It is amazing.
In a 13%.
You had a pretty big tap takeover at Mikkeller Beer Celebration Copenhagen.
Yes, it was extremely fun.
Man Bear Pig?
Yes.
Oh, you had the Man Bear Pig. God damn it.
It was down. Line was down the block. It was awesome. Literally got off the red eye. We flew for 12 hours to get here. Popped up, drove straight there from the plane. Had our bags and did the tap takeover.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, are we going to see Man Big Pier here?
No, that was just there.
Just there. God damn it.
Well, we're getting this.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're putting out Grande Papi Negro Voodoo.
Grande Negro Voodoo Papi, yes, absolutely. That was at Mikkeller as well.
Oh, really?
It's a nice stout. It's got serrano, peppers, chili, local syrup in it. You got it.
So what
Everyone wants their Black Magic.
Yeah. So what attracted you to the barrel-aged beers?
I don't know. We just wanted to try it, and then it was just fun to experiment, see how beer reacts over time, different combinations. So the Man Bear Pig was a 3-year barrel-aged program where we got local syrup and honey from a person, barrel-aged that for about a year, took that out, and then put beer in for 2 years, blended it together. It's fun to experiment.
And so, how did you pick the beers to exhibit here?
Pretty much just wanted to get a little bit of everything we had in our basement, so just want everyone here to try the different beers that we make.
So you picked the stout and...
they're both...
Stout. Oh, it's stout. Okay, 2 stouts. All right.
We do barrel-aged IPAs, but it's hard to bring them because we had to ship them so much in advance and want it to be as fresh as possible. Stouts will hold up a lot easier.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, they hold up longer.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, there's quite the line. They just kind of keep coming and coming and coming. I gonna down this so I can try the other one. So what do you guys see in your future? What do you have planned coming up?
I don't know. We actually just shipped our first pallet of beer to France, so that's kind of exciting. We're finally exporting our beer. It's the first time ever.
That's a very good question for you. What is it about the French market that attracts you? Because there's a brewery in Texas that's very, very regional to the Dallas market, but they're also doing a gypsy brewing out of, or country brewing out of France. So what is it about France that attracts you? Or?
They really wanted us. I think the distributor's called Beer Loving Brothers or something like that.
Brothers Loving Beer.
Brothers Loving Beer.
Brothers Loving Beer, okay.
Yeah, they reached out to us, and they really wanted us. So
cool. All right, because I mean, France isn't known for a huge beer market, but
they're trying.
From what I understand, they're really reaching out to America to try to tap into some new areas to really build that community there. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's really exciting. So what you're saying is we could possibly start seeing some of your stuff creeping into other markets pretty soon.
Yeah, we're hoping. Absolutely.
So when is your French release?
What's up?
When's the release in France coming up?
They picked it up yesterday, so it should be relatively soon.
Okay.
No barrel-aged beers, sadly, but we did ship some of our Good Vibes. It's one of our West Coast IPAs, very, very floral, hoppy, citrusy, super popular where we are, so I hope they like it as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really great.
Let's try the IBS as well.
You got it.
IBS, a kind of unfortunate name. Why did you go with that?
It's hilarious. It wasn't taken. It's fun. By name it's IBS, but it's actually Imperial Breakfast Stout. We were gonna base it off of. Our mug for that was a coffee cup. Obviously, we were gonna do a toilet coffee cup, but we couldn't buy them in bulk to print on them easy enough. But I mean, we get the beer poops.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just fun.
So good that.
Oh my God! Those
holy shit, that's good.
Yeah, that's local coffee we use called Happy Mug out of Edinburgh.
As well. That is incredible.
I mean, everyone's coming up here grabbing the Black Magic because it's probably more hype.
Yeah.
But
IBS was the first time brew. We've only ever brewed it once.
Yeah.
We've brewed the Black Magic a few times.
I would say the IBS is an amazing beer. It is so strong in the coffee.
We filled a whole 10-barrel fermentation tank full of coffee and infused it to the beer.
How did you just do a cold brew on the coffee, or how did you do the?
Yeah, we just did a cold brew in a beer tank.
Yeah, there's a little bit of fruit there. Do you prepare the water in any way before?
No, we don't treat the water. Nope.
It's so interesting because from what I hear from other podcasts about interviewing brewers and stuff, there's really a fine line between people that are treating the water and people that aren't treating the water. What made you decide not to?
I don't know. We don't think it distracts from any of the flavor. There's no impurity. I don't know. It's natural water.
You guys are in Pennsylvania, right?
Yep.
Okay, so it's a pretty good state.
Yes.
What part of Pennsylvania?
We're in northwest Pennsylvania. We're Meadville, so we're about a half hour south of Erie, Pennsylvania, and about an hour north of Pittsburgh.
Okay, all right.
And we have 2 locations in Erie and Pittsburgh as well.
Okay, great.
You choose
any questions?
For the second. Nope. I mean, I'm very happy with this is all we have right now.
So the IBS is an amazing beer. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you
very much for talking with us.
Absolutely.
All right.
Happy to be here.
Thanks very much.